First, we would like to respond to the the affirmative contention. First, we have the different definition toward the topic, because within the reporting rates and the recidivist rate is the point of this topic. And in their speech, they contend that our topic is to solve the problems of first crime. But we think they did not of the evidence. Second, the affirmative also give the plan to chemical castration. And if it really works efficiently, why do we have making public system? Third, let us emphasize again the recidivism rate is only 3% in the current system. We do not think it is a significant. And the affirmative are also agreed that making public system will cause people panic in the first class exam. We don't need to use a way to make people more panic to prevent the sexual cases. Fourth, the affirmative contend that they are going to keep track of the ex-offenders. However, we would like to point out that tracking system cannot work efficiently. Even if the offenders' positions or locations are known, no one can tell whether the offenders are attacking people or not. It will fail just like the ankle monitor in the current system. In addition, according to the statistics from Ministry of Interior, 40% of the sex offenses happen in the residence of the offenders. Therefore, the tracking system does little help to stop the recidivist from attacking another victim again. Fifth, allow me to remind you the statistics presented in our second negative speech. 80% of the sex offense cases are committed by someone known to the victim. Making public system cannot help those victims to prevent ex-offenders from hurting them again. Therefore, we conclude that the solvency of the affirmative is obviously weak. 6. As for the ex-cons cannot find the jobs, all the evidence the affirmative had mentioned is all happened in America or another Western country. But the culture in Asia is different from there, so we conclude that this is a false analogy. Allow me to emphasize our counterpoint again. First, to raise the reporting rate, we are convinced to simplify the process. Second, work with the charity organization. In conclusion, no matter what repair plan the affirmative have, they can only treat the symptoms but not the root of the problems. Even if they carry out the plans, the harms will still exist. So with the negative, strongly convinced that Taiwan government should not make public sex offenders' personal information. Thank you.
Affirmative rebuttal, 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. Since the current system fails to resolve the harm in the status quo, and we prove that the advantages and solvency of the sex offense registry notification, therefore, we the affirmative are strongly convinced that the Taiwan government should make public sex offenders' personal information for different situations. First, the affirmative just kept emphasizing that the recidivism rate is low, and I'm going to emphasize again that our main goal is to suppress the first-time offense, because we have the evidence that the statistic from Ministry Yuan in 2012, 90% of the sex offenders are first-time offense. And the affirmative also talk about the reported rate is only 10%, but it's nothing to do with the reported rates. We still can reach our goal by sacrificing their reputation. And talking about the effect, according to the statistic from our constructive speech, we took the US and the UK, for example, the percentage of sex crimes actually dropped after passing the notification laws. And the affirmative also mentioned that the offenders have a hard time and they are difficult to find jobs. So the study we mentioned in our constructive speech just say that the offenders and anxiety will not last too long. To solve the problem, we need psychologists to trace their mental and physical status. classified on the offender's mental status to see what their requirements are. And to summarize our goal, the offenders will be classified into two groups: those who convicted sexual intercourse and those who make obscene acts. The offender's information in the first group will be publicized to all residents for 10 years. The offender's information in the second group will be notified the educational institutions for also 10 years. Most important of all, the notification will differ from the types of crimes. In addition, juveniles whose age under 18, their information will just be registered but not being publicized. Further, returning back to the principle of the non-retroactive laws, it is only applicable to crimes sentenced after the enactment. Therefore, the affirmative was strongly confirmed by the significance of making public sex offenders' personal information and the value of protecting the whole society can be emphasized. Thank you.